You're listening to Wise Women with Daisy Khan, where faith rolls up its sleeves as a force for good and where women define the future with wisdom and wonder. I'm Daisy Khan. Kindly subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Welcome back to Wise Women with your host, Daisy Khan. Today, I'm speaking to you solo with an interesting observation about the Epstein files and the obvious double standard at play here. For so long, I have watched the media, comedians, politicians fixate on what's wrong with Muslim women's lives. They have always talked about honor killings, forced marriages, child marriages, and these stories keep getting repeated again and again, and often without a single Muslim woman present to speak for herself. These stories aren't treated as lived realities of Muslim women, which we know there are many, but simply as a spectacle and as a way to claim a moral superiority over Muslims. But do these same people ever look inward and scrutinize the abuse happening right here in the homeland, in America, at the hands of powerful, rich, well-connected American men? When Epstein files about trafficking and exploitation of young girls are kept hidden, buried, when survivors are begging for the truth to come out, when women everywhere are demanding accountability, all of a sudden the conversation magically becomes too complicated, too sensitive, simply not the right time. And for me, that's deeply infuriating because the same people who lecture Muslim women about patriarchy and misogyny have nothing to say about the violence against girls in their own backyard. They'll tell stories about backward culture, but fall silent when educated men in suits, men with money, status, and influence, abuse minors and walk away unscathed. That double standard is very exhausting for me. And here's the part that really breaks me up. One of the only people calling this out right now, honestly, one of the most unlikely people, is Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yes, this is a woman who has routinely pushed anti-Muslim rhetoric, and I'll never ignore that. But at this very moment, on this issue, she is doing something I really respect. She's demanding that all the Epstein files be released. She says it's for the victims, women who have been waiting for justice for a long time. It became so personal for her that she even spoke directly to President Trump about it. But what did she get in return? Political heat, a lot of threats. Her private security firm has warned her about a hotbed of threats. Threats she believes are being stirred up and ginned up by powerful voices. And she's not living her politics in a vacuum. She knows what it feels like when somebody powerful tells you to shut up and be quiet. She's even linked her fears to the survivors of Epstein's themselves. She says, as a woman, I take threats from men very seriously. I now have a small understanding of the fear the women who are the victims of Epstein and his cabal must feel. This is really heartbreaking, but it's also very alarming because we women all over the world understand this feeling in some way or the other. Whether you're a Muslim woman speaking out about the harm done to your sisters around the globe, or you're an American woman demanding the long-buried files be released so abusers can finally be named and punished for their crimes, you quickly learn that your voice is the first one that gets dismissed. We're asked to wait. We're told that you're exaggerating. Women are told that the story is too messy. It's too political. It's too risky. And when the story is about us, Muslim women, we're suddenly fair game. Our pain becomes public. Our lives become the headline. And here's the harsh truth. We cannot champion women's rights in one context and ignore them in another. Just because the abusers are CEOs in tailored suits who carry enormous influence and have been treated like Teflon. So here's what I want to leave you with. Because today is just you and me. There's no panel, there's no guest, no interruptions. I am simply tired of the double standard. And I'm tired of the stereotypes about Muslim women. Muslim women have spent decades being dissected, judged, demonized by a society that refuses to examine its own misogyny. And we're lectured about our culture while American men are privileged, cheat, exploit, abuse, and walk away. Somehow, their violence is never seen as cultural, but ours always is. And I'm done accepting that because oppression does not have a nationality. Abuse does not have a religion. Misogyny is as much Eastern as it is Western. The whole issue is a human problem, one that thrives whenever power hides behind silence. So today, I'm just raising my voice. And I'm inviting you to use yours. Because if we're brave enough to confront the hypocrisy, to demand transparency, to question the stories we've been told about who is civilized and who is backward, then maybe, just maybe, we can finally build a world where all women's experiences are valued equally. I hope these files reveal how this blackmail operation actually functioned and expose everyone involved in sustaining it. Because accountability should never fall on a single person while others who enabled or benefited from the abuse remain protected. The women harmed deserve justice, and the world needs to see that exploitation, no matter how powerful the men behind it are. This should never be tolerated. And let this stand as a clear message. When wrongdoing occurs, accountability must follow. And the only way to hold power and control to account is to make sure that women, whether they are Muslim, American, survivors, or witnesses, are heard, because all of us deserve that. I thank you very much for sitting in this discomfort with me and listening. This is your host, Daisy Khan. Thank you for joining me on Wise Women. If something stirred in you today, don't let it stop here. Share this episode with someone who needs it. Reflect on what resonated for you, and definitely plant one seed of change, however small. Remember, you do matter, and your actions have a ripple effect. But none of us can rise alone. To explore more resources and ways to get involved, do visit my website, daisycon.com. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review, because every click is your way of amplifying this message to others. Wisdom isn't just heard, my friends, it's lived. So let's live it. Until next time, stay wise and stay rooted.